Most people don't need more advice, just the courage to gently face what they've been avoiding.
Because growth sounds beautiful until it asks you to be honest with yourself and stay.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Touch and Empowered, where we talk about the biggest ick.
The what?
The biggest ick. The biggest ick. Ick. The biggest ick. 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 The biggest ick. What is your biggest ick, Katie?
In reference to what? Because the categories could be very vast and wide.
Yeah. It could be anything.
It could be anything?
It could be anything. It could be from dating to I'm not going to that event. It could be somebody new wants to be your friend. It could be making a business relationship. Anything. Your biggest dick in all those areas.
In all of those areas. Okay, so we're going to start with, if we start with dating, my answer is I have no clue because I haven't dated since before 2000.
That's fine.
So that one is to be determined.
Okay.
I'll say from a business standpoint, my biggest ick is when someone calls and offers services for my business and I tell them no, thank you. I am not interested. And they keep going. They keep talking, trying to, oh, but I could get you a better deal. I can discount it to this, that, or the other thing, or you really need this for your business. If I say no, respect the boundary.
Yeah.
And I finally had to tell this person, I'm like, I said no, thank you. I'm telling you flat out no. I'm asking you to remove me from your call list, and I am done. And I hung up on him. But I mean, that was after saying no like 4 times.
That is a really big ick.
That is a very huge ick for me because respecting boundaries is huge in my world right now. I very much appreciate it when people respect my boundaries.
Yeah, and when you do that, you'd be surprised how many people actually open up to what you might offer. Sorry, just saying.
That's true.
So yeah, folks, ladies and gentlemen, I agree with Katie on that one. That is a really big one for me. It's like if somebody just prods without building trust with me first, I'm like, homie.
Well,
Internally.
If they ask the question as to why is it important to me, instead of just saying we can help you build your business, and I say no, don't you want to know why I don't want to build my business or why I don't want to use your services?
Not if you're a
telemarketer and you get paid per call, I guess.
Or if you're new to sales, like you just.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's possible too. I had not considered that.
definitely when you're new to sales, because after a while you get rejected going that route a lot.
True. I've done sales things, but I also realize that with sales, I am looking for no's, so then that way when I get a yes, I am pleasantly surprised.
Maybe our way of sales is just different.
That could be.
I think that's
it. Believe it or not, it's all a mindset game.
it could be, yeah. I mean, your mindset is definitely part of that. Yes. I believe, like, in terms of sales, we're going to talk about biggest icks and then also what not to do to make sure you don't hit the ick, folks. Yeah, honestly, build trust. Like, actually, genuinely build trust. Don't like pull at straws to create a block of trust. Like, opportunities will present themselves for you to build trust with somebody. Just allow that to unfold, and if it doesn't unfold, it's not the right person to do business with.
It's about curiosity too, because building relationships is inquiring about what the other person is excited about, and then being able to share with them. Like, for example, I know that you like K-pop, so if I happen to come across a K-pop social media post, I forward it to you. Not that I like it, but I know that you get a kick out of it.
All right, let's talk about that really quickly. Okay. All right.
Because I have sent you a few odd ones.
So no. Katie's in the right. She is in the right when it comes to I like K-pop, but I disclosed that to her.
Yes, you did.
If anybody found out through this podcast that I like K-pop and started sending me K-pop videos without me telling you, I told you I love this stuff,
Oops.
that it actually pushes the wrong button. That makes me go, ooh.
Okay,
Unless, yeah.
I could understand that, but it's, I've mentioned it on social media many times about how much I love hippos. I have not received any random social media posts about hippos, but my friends who listen to the podcast started sending me more hippo posts, which I think is absolutely hysterical because they're like, "Want to make you smile? Happy hippo."
Happy Hippo, that's a day. We got to
Happy
create the
Hippo
day.
Day.
Happy Hippo. Happy Hippo Day. We can do that.
Yeah.
There's a way to register that.
I will eventually get online and look to see if there's actually a National Hippo Day. Um,
No,
but that's one of those things that helps build relationships because you're letting the other person know that you're thinking about them.
that's true. But if you send me the wrong band and you just think it's
That's
like,
true.
I'm like, ooh, honey bunches.
That's true. If it's the wrong, if it's not like your all-time favorite or whatever, then yeah, it can feel a little smarmy.
Exactly. I'm a particular K-pop fan.
Yes, you are.
I am very particular on my bands, my songs, all down to the song. Like I don't have to love the entire band, but if Abracadabra showed up, I would know the song and be like, yeah, Brown Eyed Girl,
That's true.
not all of them. Yeah.
And so it's one of those things that before you start spamming people on social media, make sure you actually know the people.
Yeah, because there is a fine line between I'm doing this to be a supportive possible or potential business collaborator with you,
Right.
where I will respect your boundaries and be reciprocating. And there is the I'm doing this to manipulate and take advantage of you. There's a huge
Ick.
fine line, and you can actually thank you, ick. You can find that ick in such a subtle way where it's like, were they really listening? Were they really understanding? Because if they did, okay, that opens me up to possible new ways to continue having a conversation with you.
True. And it's interesting as to the clarification that people get when you have these kinds of conversations on it, because then it's like for sports, for example, you don't want to send a post for the rivalry of the person's favorite football team or soccer team or whatever that's out there because I've seen responses to those posts and they are interesting.
Yeah, like if you sent me like an LA, I live in LA, I get it. But if you sent me like something for the Dodgers, wrong team, folks. I won't disclose what team. Wrong team. Wrong team. And I think that's hilarious. And those tiny little icks right there. It's like you don't realize it, but you're in a very subtle way. You don't know that you're accidentally disrespecting the person's personality.
And I will admit to a mistake that I made with my mom's guy Mark, where I sent him a copy of a news article about some award that was given to Michigan State. He didn't go to Michigan State. He went to Michigan University.
Oh, that's funny.
I was like, oops, okay. I know better now.
So I had one of those mistakes as well. So when I was early career, when I was working SNL 40 as a page, who's the guy? I forgot his name because he didn't respond to me well after I made this mistake. Rob Schneider.
Okay.
So I'm walking him down the red carpet and I ask him the nervous question because I'm freaking 21 and like I'm meeting somebody that I used to idolize as a child because he's part Filipino. And I was like, have you been here before? We're at the SNL. He was in SNL. Of course he's been there before. And he did not like what I said. And then he ignored me for the rest of the night. And I was like, oh.
Well, I mean, sometimes it is, our nerves get in the way or something else like that. But that's, human error. That's not, I wasn't listening to you.
No, yeah, but he didn't notice. He didn't see that.
Well, now we know.
Sorry, Rob Schneider. I really do love you. That was a young me moment. And so with that, because that I could tell that was an ick for him.
Right? And you'll sometimes see that in other interviews too, where the person who is asking the questions completely disregards on what is or is not acceptable to talk about in that interview and chooses to try and push the boundaries. I've seen people who were being interviewed get up and walk
Oh,
in the
I
middle of
was
an interview because I said we were not going to discuss whatever that topic is. And they ask a question and they're like, no. And then they ask the question a second time and the person gets up and walks.
yeah, I was in one of those. All right, so
Oh,
high
you
level.
witnessed one of those?
I wish. Yeah, I was in the room with it. It was at a recording studio when I was in radio, and it was a radio. I won't say which company, but I was at it was a radio interview, and the guy did not prep before he got in. Like he just did not, and he was like, "Mother's Day is coming up," and it's not. It's coming up in like 2 months, and he was like, "Mother's Day is coming up. What are you doing for Mother's Day?" And she was like, "My mother's dead."
Ooh.
And she couldn't do two more episodes, like two other questions, until thankfully the intern that has read up on her saved the show and came in and like, hey, is it okay if I ask you a few questions? And she was like, eager and shining, and she knew her stuff. She was confident, and she saved the interview. But oh my gosh.
What? I mean, come on. I mean, even being part of the Teen Suicide Prevention Society and the Suicide Prevention Show, we researched who we were, not necessarily researched, but we at least asked questions of the people we were going to be talking to as to what are you sharing, what do you feel comfortable with us asking and stuff like that, because these are sensitive topics. So I assumed everyone did that kind of prep work. Obviously, I'm wrong.
They do not. No, they do not. They actually really don't, unless they have a publicity, like a PR person, like they have a publicist. Right. So if they have a publicist, the publicist is pretty proactive and like, you can talk about this, you can talk about this, and you cannot talk about this.
Right.
Like they're very proactive about that. Without one, they're not. Or that person just didn't read the topic. But anyway, it was so. That's an ick. It can stop somebody. Yeah, it can stop somebody from performing like that. They're like, I'm not giving you more because I don't feel safe to continue to give you more. Right. You just.
If you don't feel safe having the conversation because the other person isn't respecting the boundaries, then by all means, say thank you, no thank you, and walk out. You have that option.
Yeah.
That's not something I was raised with, but it's something that I know I have now.
Yeah, I wasn't raised with it either. And then you just continue to wear the face, or at least the hard shell.
Right. The mask.
And like the mask, so that like people can't penetrate it. But yeah, that one I was like, wow. Oh, that's an ick. Okay.
Okay, so you asked me about my dating ick, which I don't have. Okay. Because I haven't been dating. What's yours?
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. It could be like, I feel so bad for anyone I've ever dated for less than 2 weeks, because the ick was different each time per person. But if we got to the second date or even the first date and I'm like, actually no, I usually give people the benefit of the doubt if the first date's awful. I'll like do this, I'll try the second date. But usually after the second date, I'm like, oh no. Like there was this one time I asked somebody, what's your dream practical car? Not the dream car that could be over $1 million for no reason. Like what's your dream practical car? And I think they said a Prius. And that was.
But they're so cute.
And that was and I was like, okay, we're done. Like it was just not. Like he didn't even go to the details of like, because this, and I'll tell you why. He was just like a Prius, and I went.
So just giving an answer without the explanation as to pros or cons or whatever.
And thankfully, I was gonna pay for the bill,
Right?
but thankfully my friend worked at the restaurant and gave us a hookup anyways. So so technically speaking, I did, but like, I was literally like, okay, thank you very much. It was nice, but I don't think we're a good fit. I think you'd find somebody better who would be okay with a Prius. I would rather not have a car than have a Prius. No offense. It's a great car. It is, and
It is, but it's for you. It's not practical
It's
because
not.
you
It's
have
not my
midnight.
exactly. That's part of it. Yes, part of it. Yes. The other part is just I don't like cars low to the ground in LA because I can't see over the freaking dashboard.
That is true.
So and that's a practical problem for me is because I can't. I will hit the side of the. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, I've driven through LA one time, and I don't think I will ever do it again. That
Okay.
is now an ick for me.
There you go. There you go. So that was one of my icks. I can't remember the other ones yet, but we will find out during this conversation. It will be extracted from my memory.
I'm sure it will be. But let's see what other icks we've talked about. We've talked about business icks.
Icks. What about healing icks? Like if you're about to go in for a healing, what's an
Ooh.
oh yeah. And folks, let's talk about the different types of healing because I know that this is a new
Right.
not a new wave, but if you haven't been in the healing space, there are different modalities of different types of healing, like brain spotting therapy. Katie does transformational conscious coaching. Did I say that correctly?
Close enough.
Sorry, say it again.
Conscious transformational coaching
Sorry.
is what the certification is, but it's okay.
I apologize. Conscious transformational coaching. Yes, yes, conscious transformational coaching. And in so doing, she helps you remove like the stored energy of the trauma without actually going through the memory again.
Yeah, it
doesn't reach it.
Yeah, it removes the emotion from the event, so it's like watching a movie instead of reliving it.
Exactly. And like,
we don't dive straight into that. I'm just
no. The two modalities
there's prep work.
Yeah, and there's two modalities that I just expressed, and one of them goes head on. Like brain spotting, you go head on into the triggering memories to process them, and then Katie goes more into the more gentle route. And then there's Reiki, and then if you've never heard of it, it's a form of energetic healing or attunement.
Right.
There's also
there's sound healing. Was interviewed on the podcast that did using your own voice instead of using sound bowls, for example. Theta healing. I mean, there's so many different modalities out there.
Right.
And each one of them is slightly different, has a different introduction to it.
And a different feeling.
And a different feeling to it. And I would have to say that for me, it doesn't matter the modality. It's what happens when I first walk into the room or hop on the Zoom call with the person.
Yeah. And to be fair, like think about it. When you're getting healed, you have to open up your wounds, right? So you're left in a state of vulnerability. So you have to trust the healer. Go ahead, Katie.
And this goes for, I'd say, regular medicine as well.
Yeah, go for it.
If the person who if I'm being treated, whether this be Western medicine or energetic healing, if I'm the one being treated and the person comes in and immediately dives into, okay, let's get started, that causes a disconnect of human connection with me and that individual and causes me to lose a little bit of trust. Especially with Western medicine. I want the doctor to at least say hello to me first before immediately saying, so you're in for this, and this. No, I am not a chart. I am a breathing person.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a big ick.
That's a huge ick.
That's an ick. Yeah. I think I hear that. Yeah. I think an ick for me would be like when a healer is starting to shame me for my wounds. Which they're not supposed to do whatsoever.
They're not supposed to do whatsoever.
But it's like, oh yeah, ooh, I can see that. Like if somebody comes in and starts saying, you need to do X, Y, and Z. immediately, without me hearing them say, look, it could be a touchy subject. We understand that you've gone through this.
Right.
These are the ways that we know best to help you. And you can choose from this variety of ways. And I can go through each one to help you choose, or at least give you enough information so you can make the best decision for your life. You see the difference between that and, oh my goodness, that part of your life must have been awful. Here, let me help you.
And assume that they automatically have the correct answer that they're giving you.
Directly. See, when I hear that, I'm like, thank you so much. I'll consider it. I'll consider it. I don't think I'm the right fit for you, but if I know anybody, I can refer them your way. But give me 24 hours to fully decide. And if they come back aggressively or come back in a way, even if they come back apologetically, I would still say to them, like, I don't think I'm the right fit for you, but I will refer people your way that could be. Because some people need that. I'm not that person.
True. There are people who need a very direct or blunt process. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, because there are some times that even myself, I need the swift kick in the butt to shake things up to get me moving forward. But there's a time and a place, and the people who normally do that are people I've built trust with. Like with you. Yeah. You will call me out on my BS, but we've known each other long enough that I know you're doing it from a place of love, not doing it because I'm just a number or a chart or a quota that you're trying to fit.
Right, exactly. And to be fair, notice when I said what I said before, that actually was a direct way to talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It was just not crass.
Yeah.
Small difference. Such a small difference. It was still respecting the accountability and the autonomy of the individual.
Right.
As a healer, you still want to do that because it doesn't just protect that person from who you're healing, but it protects you too, because you don't want people to become dependent on you or addicted to you either. That becomes a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I found I had to practice was the clarity of what the healing does and doesn't do. Because I had one individual who, for lack of a better term, assumed since we had issue A resolved, that everything else was going to be automatically fixed at the exact same time. And because we healed something small and they thought that I was healing the Grand Canyon, having to explain to them that you start small and you build up to deal with something as significant as the Grand Canyon. We don't dive off the deep end right away.
Unless you're me.
Well,
but I mean,
helping you has helped me create safety nets and buffer zones.
I'm ready to go. Let's go.
And fail safes, because I had somebody who, I was the client, they were the healer, and the process that we went through left me so open that it seemed like everything negative was sticking. It's like I was attracting all the negativity around me.
Ooh, yeah, no, that one sucks. No, we don't want that.
Yeah, we don't want that at all. So refining what the healers do to make sure that that's not the case, which is why you want to make sure that you at least know the person that you're working with, how to have a conversation with them, and make sure you're not treated like a number or a check.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about icks. Yeah. I remember I had this one person who wanted to coach me so badly that it was almost like it kind of freaked me out a little bit. It was kind of like, when somebody is like lusting for it, like it's like a hit for them.
Right.
Like that's how they came at me after I after a 48 window, they were like, no, let's like, and I was just like, no, it's okay. It was honestly, it looked like I was going to give them a fix by being their client and like some type of dopamine hit or something. And I was just like, oh, okay. That was an ick for me. That was a big ick for me. And they weren't like that with anybody else. Just and that freaked me out a lot.
That can be very nerve-wracking. So I completely understand why that's an ick for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I also had somebody once. So I was taught this before. Like, when you're about to go in for an employer or like for a job, you research, right?
Yes.
You research your boss's careers. You research your company's careers, the one or whatever you're researching. You don't research their Facebook personal life and bring it up.
Yeah.
That's an ick. That one's an ick.
That from an employer standpoint, if I was interviewing someone and they brought up my personal social media and stuff like that, that is a huge ick. Devil's advocate is I know that there are employers out there who check the social medias of the people they are interviewing because that person is going to become a representation of their company.
And that's fair. I understood that. And I understand that. That's why I deleted an entire Facebook before I started working. So
right, but again, there's a different dynamic for it. But I agree.
It's out there, so yeah.
There's some things you just don't tell your boss that you know about them.
Exactly. See that's an ick. There are certain people, like if I'm hiring you to do PR for me, for instance, yeah, my life's an open book because you need to fix whatever is going on.
Right, and you need to help protect and create guidelines and boundaries and everything like that. That makes perfect sense because that's their job.
Exactly. But if you're asking me about other stuff and you know which boyfriend I've been on for X, Y, Z years, or know my dating life before I do.
Yeah. That's
a bit of a queasy moment, and less of an ick, but more of like a whoa.
That's a whoa. That's definitely an ick as well.
Yeah, because that's happened.
Yeah, that's cringy.
Yeah, it's another cringy thing if it's from someone I know who tells me that you told them, and I find out through somebody I know. Like there's like that.
Oh, that's major ick. You do not tell other people's secrets. You do not gossip.
Or I didn't even say anything, and they know. That's even, I know that's more complex of a situation, but I live in Hollywood. Word is word here. Unless you write it in NDA or confidentiality, even so, like it's still here, right?
Right.
So, yeah, that's when it gets interesting. Because then I don't even want to meet the person, even before they even talk to me in person.
Yeah, and if it's somebody that I've already had a conversation with, I am immediately respectfully distancing myself from them because that level of trust that was there has been broken at that point.
Or no trust has been created.
Or no trust has been created. And it's created a bigger gap for that trust bridge to go across that it's going to take longer to build trust with that individual.
Yeah. Do I need to explain what I was talking about more further? Was that clear?
It was clear to me, but you're free to elaborate on it.
I'm wondering. So, like, all right. And this happens in friend groups, right? It's like somebody said something about, so person A wants to talk to person C, right?
Right.
But person B mentioned something that person A has been trying to do to get to you, to person C. Your person C, right? For instance, a guy, person A, is trying to date me. So they're going through every way possible even ways that don't sound great, or they're being competitive.
Right.
And person B, who's close to me, tells me about this, they're never getting to meet person C. Like, it's not going to happen now.
Right.
Something like that. That could be a huge ick for me.
And and that makes sense. I mean, there's a fine line with everything.
Yeah.
You do want to get information. For example, if I am going into a networking group, I at least would like some information on that networking group or the individuals there before I walk in the door. So then that way I can make sure that I'm a right fit for these other business people.
That's
But if
interesting because I'd never do that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I've done it only because the first one that I went into, I did not do any research on at all. And it was a very strict, rigid format for the networking. That it was literally everyone had a certain period of time to introduce themselves, what they do, what they're looking for, and their contact information. And it went right down the line of everyone in there. There was no conversation to get to know these people before they were asking for me to send referrals to them.
See, that's interesting.
Versus the one that I go to now on a monthly basis, I looked into a little bit more and it's designed around having conversations with the other people in the room to get to know them. So you have that business relationship before you refer people to them.
Yeah. And, you know, that's interesting because, like, when I go into networking spaces,
Mm-hmm.
I'm normally invited, right? So I'm normally invited by someone or something, so mainly someone. Um, and normally they say why I'm a good fit for the room before I even enter it, what I could do in that room. And then usually these networking events have speakers, so I look at the speakers or at least learn about them. Maybe. I
If you
actually
have the
wait.
information.
If I have the information available, I'll peruse it. But sometimes what you see on a fact sheet of paper is okay, sure, but do they have the presence to match it?
Right.
So I usually wait till I see the presence, and then I'll look into the person and learn more about them. I remember, oh my gosh, the recent room that I went into, which was like everyone was net worth 5 million and up.
I remember you telling me about that one.
So that's a different style of networking. You have to build trust because
Right.
yeah, no one's just going to let you give you access to $5 million of their assets. So you build trust immediately when you're there, and you find ways just by being yourself and allowing the opportunity. There's a very je ne sais quoi
Right.
of how to do it. And it's usually if you have a right fit for that type of grouping of individuals. Now, that's Katie was like, you know the guy from Scorpion? Sorry. So that was from that. That was from that event, right? So
Right.
like for
You do meet the most unique people, I will say that.
thank you, and they definitely contribute to my happiness in a way of being unique. So I'm
Right.
very grateful for that. I get to be inspired. Um, but understanding that, like, my biggest ick is if somebody just goes, "Hi, who are you? What do you do?"
Yeah, I agree. That's an ick. That's kind of wanting to judge you right off the bat on what you do, not who you are.
Right, right. It actually is an ick, but in that space, usually the second question is, "What do you do?" Because they have no time. It's also like they have 3 days. They want to see if there's somebody there that does something that can complement what they do.
Right. And I think context is key. If you know you're going into a particular demographic of networking, then expectations are tweaked because I know that if I'm going into the one that I go to every month, it's a more relaxed fit. But if I'm going into, say, BNI, they are more structured. They're not the one I was complaining about, but they are more structured than what I prefer. So I just know to set my expectations to fit within the rules of their networking group, so to speak.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really enjoy the what do you do part as much. And that's actually all right, so let's talk about that. Because I did talk to people, even though that was the immediate thing that they would share, and it would
Right?
turn me off. The people that didn't talk about that immediately, that were like, oh, I really like your shoes. I really like your hair. I really like your earrings. Or, oh, that's a really fabulous necklace. Like things like that. I was talking to women predominantly.
Right.
Um,
Starting the conversation with something else.
yep, yep. Or just eye contact. Hi, my name is blank. Introduce yourself first before asking me.
Hmm.
And then from there, talking about some type of subject that is like relevant to what's going on. And then you segue into the business part. That is different.
Right. And again, that opens up more of the conversational aspect of it versus the what I call the checklist. I want your name, your business, your phone number, your email address. Oh, you're not a fit. Okay, goodbye. They're
Yeah.
getting to again, they're getting to know you as the individual, not you as a transaction.
Although the first person that came up to me at that event, oh,
Hmm.
they hard hit. Like they went right up to me. They're like, we do this, this. What do you like? Yep, like we're looking to deploy funds. What do you do? How much is the fund? Like just right off the bat. Like I want to give you money before even knowing your name exactly. What do you do? That like I was like, hi, what? And eventually I found this person again, and we actually had a regular conversation, very relaxed in the sun, and I was able to give him some perspective on the entertainment industry, and then I was open to receiving his money. I was just like, what? For my friend's fund that is amazing, but still, like, oh my
but
god.
but still, it's the quote unquote transaction didn't happen until the actual conversation took place instead of being fire hosed with information and requesting you make a decision immediately.
Right, and not necessarily that that's an ick, because some people like that wasn't an ick to me. I wanted to continue the conversation,
Right.
but I was like, blah 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 blah. Wait, you just said that in less than 60 seconds before coffee. Can you just don't?
Yes, coffee is important.
So we let's discuss more in a minute. Yes, he even like waited for me in the exact spot that I said I would be at after I went to the bathroom, but then I got intercepted. Like these are the things that can be that can create the ick.
Right. There's the possibility of it. And one of the things that I have learned is that approach things with curiosity and approach things with a sense of humor will save you most of the time from the ick.
Yes, I agree. As long as it's the right humor.
Yeah, as long as it's the right humor, because there's a time and a place for certain types of humor.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you can't control other people's icks, right? Like they're just there.
Right.
That's what that is. Be yourself, and hopefully, they don't have the ick enough to hang out with you more. Like that's what I'm saying. But like,
And if they do, you weren't meant to hang out with them anyways.
exactly. Or they revisit you, and then you discuss what happened,
True. That makes
and then you
sense.
and then you work through the icks.
Which I think is the most important thing because there are some icks that are not now, and then there are other icks that are solid boundaries and solid no's.
Oh yeah. There's even icks when it comes to dogs meeting my dog.
That makes sense.
My immediate ick is your dog nosy? My dog doesn't like that. Uh-uh.
Right. And it's one of those things that we all because of a social media post, this came up as our conversation today. Because it's
Dude,
interesting, it's football. I don't even remember the one that you sent me. I don't remember the other one you
you
sent
remember
off the
the
top
other
of my
one?
head.
You know, the biggest ick.
Oh, that one, yes, I do remember the biggest ick, the one with Halle Berry.
Yep, go ahead. Please continue. Yes. This is for you, Nicole. Enjoy. Please. Thank you, Nicole. Go ahead, Katie.
I forgot what I was saying.
I'm so sorry. This started from a social media post. Please continue.
Oh, yes, this all started with a social media post. There's two ways to respond to icks. There is immediately distance yourself from the person, or have the human compassion and the humor to at least finish the conversation instead of just, if it's a hard boundary, feel free to get up and leave. You know, but for somebody who on the receiving end, if I say or do something that is an ick for you and I don't know about it, and all of a sudden you ghost me, then that just leaves no way to evolve as human beings.
So some people can do that. I've had
Right.
people who've actually I've asked for feedback as to what happened, and that was helpful for
Hmm.
me to learn and grow from the experience. But unless they ask, I don't normally give the feedback.
And that makes sense because you don't want to come across as correcting someone else's behavior when they're not asking for refinement.
Yeah, like unless the person like no one's ever said it to them before, and I can tell they need it. Like they keep running a streak of like I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and I'm like, okay, look, okay, so this is what happened with me. For the future, I hope you can learn from that feedback. And if you can't, that's fine. Then you'll keep going the wrong rabbit hole. Or, this coming from a place of compassion, even if I don't know you, like
Right.
this is going to help you out in the long run.
Which I think that's just something that we've talked about enough that with the whole solid communications and, respecting of boundaries and everything else like that. I do think that the biggest ick is the most hysterical thing in the world that we've discussed so far, but it still comes down to things that we've been talking about for years.
Oh yeah, and I think it comes down to a point where it's like it does talk about boundary crossing, but these are
Hmm.
also the invisible boundary crossers that you
Right.
would you just why did they stop talking to me? What did I do? It could be you could have had bad breath and you just didn't know.
True.
It could have been the fact that you
You wore a
remind
color they didn't like.
yep, you remind them of somebody that they're still triggered by. Like things of that nature, you just never know, and sometimes they won't tell you. Like for instance, I'm never going to tell the guy it's because of a Prius because that like it's not their fault.
True. True.
I'm going to own that decision on my part. Like,
So we are coming up on time
okay,
for this episode. So do you have any parting words about the biggest ick?
collect them, enjoy them, have fun. No, I'm just kidding. So, although they are a joyous moment, but there are times that they're just unexplainable and they're so particular to the person that you're speaking to that like the best thing to do is be yourself and sit confidently in who that you is. That regardless of the other person's ick and how they get icked out, um, You continue to grow and be yourself regardless, and enjoy your life and laugh at the funnies of everything.
True.
That's my thing.
And that just makes room for the people who have the same type of likes and humor and everything else. That helps you find your community.
Exactly. Katie, what about you?
I don't know, other than the fact that I'm still laughing about the whole biggest ick thing. Because it's people can misinterpret what we're saying, and I am just finding it absolutely hilarious.
And I love that. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Enjoy, and we will see you next time.
Bye. If this conversation stirred something in you, don't just sit with it, work with it. You can go deeper with us through our sessions, workshops, and community experiences designed to support your growth in real time.
All the details are in the show notes, and if this episode resonated, share it with someone who's ready to meet themselves a little more honestly. Until next time, challenge what you believe.
Choose who you become.